Hey CEO, if you want 2026 to look different, if you're tired of writing the same goals over and over each year, if you're done with this is the year that fill in the blank, and then watching the year slip by, then listen closely. Because CEOs don't wait until January 1st to decide who they're becoming and step into what God has called them to. Instead, CEOs build the framework before the calendar flips. They don't hope for growth, they prepare, plan, and pray for it. And that's why today, I'm showing you the mindset shift every Christian woman CEO needs and the roadmap that God uses to take your vision from Him from desire to direction to done. Hey friend, welcome back to the Redeem Her Time podcast. Today, I want to have a CEO to CEO conversation, and it's one that might sting, but stick with me because I promise it will set you free. You see, most Christian women in business step into a new year with plenty of dreams and desires, but very few step into a new year with direction. You want to grow your revenue. You want to be more consistent. You want to steward your business well. You want to walk confidently in what God is calling you to do. But if you're honest, and like most business owners I work with, you've been circling the same mountain for quite a while now. You've been carrying the same goals year after year. Consistent content that converts, launching that new program, finally hitting 100K, maybe even trying to hire help or build systems that never quite stick. And you're writing the same things in your planner each January. And by spring, well, you're overwhelmed, off track, or starting over again. And right now, in December, you're feeling it. Regret, frustration, exhaustion, maybe even a little shame. The fear that you're going to repeat the same patterns next year, even while part of you is still hopeful, still dreaming of what could be and what God can do. And then throw in all the holiday busyness. Kids home from school, company coming, your brain that won't shut off. And even though business might be a little quieter, your thoughts are racing. You're trying to squeeze planning into tiny pockets while also just surviving the season. This isn't a lack of desire, and it's not even a lack of discipline. It's a lack of having the right system and stewardship and support to sustain, or better yet, scale your growth through all the seasons of the year. But today, we're going to fix that. Before we go deeper, I want to invite you to go ahead and grab your seat for the CEO's Don't Wait Till January 1st Masterclass Series, happening December 9th through 11th. This is your 3-day end-of-the-year reset, designed to help you stop hoping the new year will be different and actually build the framework that makes it different before the ball drops. 3 days, 3 shifts, 3 essentials every Christian CEO needs before 2026 begins. Day 1 is going to be about how CEOs measure growth, the kingdom way to look back at 2025, evaluate what truly mattered, and discern what God is developing in you. Day 2 is how CEOs set goals. We're going to use the With God framework for visioning 2026, so you're not guessing, striving, or repeating last year's patterns. And then day 3, we're going to talk about how CEOs hit every goal they set. This is the stewardship structure that turns intention into execution, so you actually walk out what God reveals. So go to redeemhertime.com/January or click the link in the show notes to get in the room. Because if you're believing for God-sized goals to turn into God-sized results in 2026, girl, your preparation doesn't start on January 1st. It actually starts right now. And I want to let you know, what we're talking about today is anchored in Scripture. Let's look at Proverbs 16:3. Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans. Let's slow down and really unpack that. Commit doesn't mean think about it occasionally. It doesn't mean pray once and hope it works out. It doesn't mean take a few steps forward, then get distracted, drift, and get off in the ditch. It means to roll your plans onto God, to place the full weight of what you're building, believing for, and stepping into directly into His hands. It's an act of surrender and stewardship because it's all His anyway, right? That's why then Scripture tells us, and He will establish your plans. Not your vague hopes, not your someday wishes, your plans, your God-given plans. Why? Because God works through structure, and He honors stewardship, and He moves through systems and strategies that are built with Him, not apart from Him. And when you do business with God, girl, your faith leads you, your plan supports you, and God establishes both. That is why desire alone will never transform your year. That's why I want it to be different won't make it any different either. And this is why CEOs who partner with God plan prayerfully, intentionally, and expectantly. Because here's the truth. God can't establish what you never planned. So you might be asking, why didn't I hit my goals in 2025? Well, are you ready to get painfully honest? Because clarity is the first step to change. If 2025 didn't look like you'd hoped, it likely comes down to one of three root issues. And I bet at least one of these, or maybe all the above, will feel very familiar. Root cause number one is having no plan at all. Sure, you had lots of ideas, but maybe you said things like, this is the year I'm going to finally get consistent on social. I'm going to finish that new program. I'm going to grow my revenue to consistent 10K months. But the steps, the strategy, the timeline, well, none of it ever made it out of your head. So your year probably looked a lot like starting something strong for 2 weeks and then dropping it when life got busy, reacting to client needs instead of leading your calendar, feeling guilty because you knew you had goals, but no real plan to walk them out. Ideas are inspiring, but ideas don't create results. Plans do. Root cause number two is a plan, but not the right kind. Because maybe you did plan, but it was probably the January kind of plan. You picked your word for the year. You wrote down a list of goals in a fresh notebook. You created a vision board and started a new planner. You may even have mapped out a couple of projects. But you weren't clear on your one priority each quarter. You didn't have a 12-week rhythm that told you what to do and what not to do. And your plan didn't include checkpoints, margins, or adjustments. So what happened? You were busy, but not building. You kept moving, but not necessarily in the right direction. You hit March, then June, then October, then December, and said, how is it already almost the end of the year? Your plan wasn't bad. It just wasn't the right kind, built in a way to carry you through real life. And then there's root cause number three, having a plan, but no support. Maybe you did have clarity. You laid a project out, you put dates on a calendar, you broke down the steps, but you were trying to do it alone. That might have looked like getting stuck for a week because you didn't know the next step, or losing momentum because no one noticed when you drifted off track, or feeling discouraged because you didn't have women cheering, praying, and running with you, or not calibrating when life shifted, so your plan died the moment things got hard. You see, even the strongest plan weakens over time without the right support, because isolation is the silent killer of execution. So let me ask, which one of those resonated with you? Root number one, root number two, or root number three? Or a little of them all? This is why so many Christian women end the year feeling behind, frustrated, or defeated. Not because you're unmotivated, not because you lack discipline, not because God didn't show up, but because motivation doesn't carry a year. Systems and support do. That's why I want to tell you, you didn't fail, your structure failed you. And that's actually good news, because once you fix the structure, everything else begins to multiply, because now you have a framework to sustain your growth. So this is why 2026 requires a different approach. You see, you cannot take the same habits, the same planning patterns, or the same start, stop, sprint inconsistencies into a new year and expect anything to change. Because here's the truth. Your 2026 results are built in December, not in January. Think about what usually happens. If you wait until after the holidays, you spend January just trying to get back into routine. If you wait until the kids go back to school, you spend an entire month catching up on laundry, inboxes, and life. If you wait until motivation magically appears, you spend 4 to 6 weeks trying to remember what you even said you wanted. And suddenly, it's mid-February and you're already behind. That, my friend, is exactly how you lose the first 6 to 8 weeks of the year without even noticing. But CEOs don't operate that way. CEOs don't wait for the year to begin. CEOs design the year before it begins. Why? Because stewardship is proactive. You prepare before you step in. Because planning is spiritual maturity. You're saying, God, I'm going to steward what you have entrusted to me. And because preparation is worship. It's ordering your world because fruitfulness gives him glory. And when you build your roadmap early, before the holiday whirlwind, you enter January entirely different. Instead of wandering into a year hoping you'll figure it out, feeling behind before you begin, spinning and overwhelmed because there's just too much to do, you step into a new year with clear direction. No more guessing what matters each quarter. With God-aligned priorities, not just good goals, but the right ones. With one profitable project, the thing that will actually move your business forward. With defined milestones so you know exactly what to hit by when. With a weekly rhythm so you're not reinventing your schedule every Monday. And a system that supports your calling, not drains you, frustrates you, or distracts you. That, my friend, is how goals get hit on time or even ahead of time, every time. Not through new year, new you emotion. Not through this is the year energy. Not through I'll try harder this year, but through alignment and structure and consistency. That is what makes 2026 a different year. And that work begins right now. So you ready for a roadmap for your 2026 results? Right now, I want to pull back the curtain because if you want different results in 2026, what does the right map actually include, you might be wondering? Here's the thing. It's not complicated, but it is intentional. And it involves 3 essentials. Essential number 1 is stewardship of vision. This is all about aligning your goals with God's direction. This isn't just, what do I want to do next year? It's, Lord, what have you assigned to me in this season? Think of it like this. Maybe God is nudging you to finally finish that course that's been sitting in your Google Drive. Maybe he's calling you to simplify your offers instead of adding more. Maybe he's asking you to focus on faithfulness in one area instead of scattering your energy across, 15. Stewardship of vision looks like asking, what has God called me to grow right now? Not what everyone else is doing, not what Instagram says you should build. What fruit does God want me to produce in this next year? More clients, more clarity, more consistency, more rest? What assignment is actually mine? And what am I releasing? Because not every good idea is a God idea. And when your goals reflect his direction, you move with confidence and authority instead of confusion and pressure. All right, essential number 2 is a system that supports your growth. This is the engine of your year, your growth mapping method. And here's where most women fall apart. They have the desire to grow, but not the systems to sustain the growth. Every successful Christian CEO needs a 12-week focus, not, I want to write a book this year, but I'm going to complete draft 1 by March 31st. They need one primary project, not launching 3 offers and rebuilding your website and starting a podcast, but choosing one project that will bring the biggest return. They need clear weekly action steps so that Monday isn't, what should I do? It's, here is what will move the needle this week. They need a monthly reset. So when life happens, sickness, family needs, travel, you don't throw away the plan, you just adjust it. And they need a weekly check-in, a few minutes each week where you ask what worked, what didn't, and what needs to shift. You see, this is what keeps you out of consistent overwhelm and firmly in momentum. You see, it's the difference between spinning in circles and steadily, peacefully moving forward, even when life is full. And essential number 3 is support and accountability. Because let's be honest, you will quit on yourself before you quit on others. Am I right? That's why you need to know support isn't weakness. And it's not something you build towards or one day outgrow. Support is smart CEO strategy. Think of the times you said, I'll start again Monday. I'll get back on track after this busy week. I'll be more disciplined next month or next year. And then the months passed. Not because you didn't care, but because you didn't have anyone checking in, cheering you on, or helping you course correct. But success happens when you have weekly accountability. So you show up even when you'd rather coast. When you have monthly resets, you always know your next move ahead of time. When you have quarterly realignment, so your actions stay in sync with your God-given vision for that season. Support doesn't make you dependent. Support makes you unstoppable, especially when it's coming from other faith-focused business owners who get it because they've been there too and done that too. So when you put it all together, it's stewardship plus systems plus support equals results. That's it. That's the roadmap. And that is how Christian CEOs grow with intention. And that is how 2026 becomes your most aligned, fruitful, and focused year you've ever had. So I just want to say, if your heart is stirring right now, pay attention. Because this is exactly why I'm hosting the CEOs Don't Wait Till January 1st Masterclass Series, December 9 through 11. If you're tired of treading the same water for another year, if you're done starting strong in January only to lose momentum by February, if you know God is calling you to more, but you're not sure how to walk it out without overwhelm or inconsistency, then it's time to get in the room. Because your 2026 results don't start on January 1st. They start now, in the mindset you choose, the decisions you make, and the plan you build before the year begins. Inside this 3-day masterclass, you're going to get what we've talked about here today, and what most Christian women business owners never have. Number 1, stewardship. Clarity about what God is truly asking you to build this year with him. Number 2, a system. A simple, spirit-aligned structure to help you stay focused and consistent. And number 3, support. The accountability and community that keeps your momentum going when your motivation starts fading. This isn't just learning. This is equipping. This is alignment. This is preparation for the kind of year where you don't just set goals, you hit them with God. Because CEOs, Christ-empowered operators, are decisive. That's why CEOs prepare before the moment, and CEOs plan with God, and then partner with him every single step of the way. So if you're ready for 2026 to look radically different, if you're ready for clarity, consistency, confidence, and Holy Spirit direction, then right now, go to redeemhertime.com/January and reserve your spot. This will shift your year. This will clarify your calling. This will show you the exact roadmap to walk out the goals that God has placed in your heart. Because CEOs don't wait until January 1st. And I promise, your future CEO self is already thanking you. So here's my challenge for you this week. I want you to ask yourself, if nothing changes in how I plan, prepare, and steward my business, will 2026 look any different than 2025? If the answer is no, then today is the day that you can start choosing differently. Steward your vision. Build your system, step into support, and let God establish the work of your hands. Okay, friend, I'll see you over inside the Redeemer Time community. We'll talk more about this. Thanks for joining me for this episode. Until next time, remember, instead of chasing time on a clock, trying to control it, receive the gift of time from the one who truly holds it. Because as his daughter, you have time.